Folks, we're running out of time. We have to figure out whether or not these people are a-holes. Let's start with this one. AITAH for telling my sister I don't have the looks to sleep my way to the top after she called me a DEI hire. I had a traumatic brain injury as a child. It left me with some physical impairments as well as slurred speech. My sister has always thought I used my condition to get extra attention from our parents and at school. My sister married her boss. I believe they did everything right. Before anything started, they went to their company HR and she was transferred to a different office. He had no direct control over her employment. I have worked for my dad since I got out of university. It works for me because I didn't have to interview and I can have lunch with the boss sometimes. At work, we have a professional relationship and I don't take advantage. I was recently headhunted by a company my dad does business with. They were impressed with the level of work that was coming out of our shop. I talked to my dad about it and he said he would be sad to see me go, but the next step up at his company was his job and he wasn't going anywhere. So I had his blessing. I accepted the job and my dad threw me a going away party. All of the employees were invited and family and friends. My sister was there with her family. It was a great time until she decided to pipe up that my accident had helped me get ahead again. That I was a DEI hire and only got the job because I checked off so many spots in the checklist. All right. How we feeling about that, huh? Pretty good, sister. Good sister points. Is that jealous? What is that? Is that jealousy? Is it just me? Is it just mean sisterness? Is that what that is? What do you call that when somebody's trying to take away an accomplishment or an achievement of yours? You were headhunted though. They liked you. They wanted a piece of your dad's company / you. What a terrible thing to say. I always knew how she felt about mom and dad giving me so much of their time after the accident, but they never ignored her. She got extracurriculars. They went to most of her events at school. They helped pay for her education. I fully acknowledge that there is more to parenting, but from my point of view, they did their best. I just didn't realize that she still thought I got special treatment because of my condition. No company that I know of would hire me for the job I got if I wasn't good at it. They could be throwing money away. I was furious that she would say this in public. If she had said it privately, we could have talked it out, but she wanted public. So I said what I said. Her husband's face went red and she went speechless. Her kids looked confused. I felt bad when I saw my niece's reaction to what I said. My sister and her family left the party. My dad came over and said that I should have taken the high road and that she was very sensitive about a relationship still, even after you had kids with the guy and you're married. Even then, do you still work with him? I honestly feel bad about what I said. It wasn't fair and it wasn't true. This is really important. It not being true is really important. She hasn't called me or accepted any calls from me in over a week. Okay, so she big mad. She real big mad, yeah? Yeah, calling you a DEI hire is pretty freaking low and lame. Let's see what the comments have to say. The top comment here says, if dad didn't immediately say sister and react verbally in shock, he lost the opportunity to have it handled in a way he thought it should be handled. She said it in front of former work colleagues and potentially those your new boss could have communication with. If he didn't deal with her jealousy and hangups as a teen like he should have, she wouldn't have been empowered to make such a comment. Abigail, you apologize to your sister now or you'll have to leave, I'm afraid. And then the reply here says, honestly, he should have asked her to leave immediately. They were at a party to celebrate Op's tenure and success at his company. Treating the interaction like a childhood spat instead of a pointed professional insult wouldn't do the op any favors. Yeah, there was a party for you and your sister came in and said, you don't deserve any of this. You don't even deserve the job you have. And she said that in front of her kids and her husband. And so you replied, oh, okay. I don't have the looks to sleep my way to the top like you, sister, even though you're stretching the truth. And she's lying. She started it. I hate to say that. She started this thing, man. And you really, boom, you responded. She started that thing at your celebration that your dad was throwing for you. And that's like super lame of her. And I don't know, man, actions meet consequences, I guess. This is what really bothered me. He spoke up for sister, but didn't have the same energy for Op. Maybe Op didn't get the golden child treatment sister thinks she did. Oh, did he speak up for sister? I guess he did. Yeah, because he came over and said you should have taken the high road. I mean, look, taking the high road, it's a lonely road to take a lot of times, I feel like. the high road is a pretty lonely place. Surprise microphone! Because not a lot of people take the high road. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's very few and far between, I feel like. So it's up to you if you want to take it. And look, dude, with these sibling spats, sister, brother, sister spats, man, high road is rarely taken. Okay. NTA, don't start none, won't be none. She could have avoided a sharp retaliation if she didn't put a petty accusation out there first. She's not a victim. She's just bitter that she can't put you down with impunity. And for those of you who don't know what impunity means, it means exemption from punishment or freedom from the injurious consequences of an action. Well, I did that for you. One of you out there needed that, right? Come on, guys. Something, glass houses and stones. And then this reply here says, agreed. And also, the sister's insult was a dumb position to take. In reality, who gives a rat's ass if Op was a DEI hire? It doesn't affect Op's sister or anyone else at the party. It also doesn't automatically mean Op is any less qualified or less skilled than anyone else. You can be both a DEI hire and super talented in your role and an amazing asset to the new team. Win-win for the company. I understand what sister was heavily implying. I'm just saying her point could easily be argued against and refuted. What makes what she said so inappropriate was the intent, agree, behind her saying it. She was out for blood with this one. It is 100% clear that she said it with the sole purpose of publicly demeaning, embarrassing, insulting, and flat out bullying Op. It just is bullying, but we'll pretend it's bullying. She threw the gloves off first and sucker punched Op. Op didn't start the fight, nor did she throw the first punch. All she did was make sure she stood up for herself and ended it. Yep. That's what I think too. Yeah, dude. She just freaking... She responded. She retaliated. You got what you asked for. You poked the dragon. Why would you do that to your sister? Why would you do that to somebody? And even more so, if it's because she's disabled, you're being weird about your sister getting something because she's disabled? Weird. I don't like this energy here. She's trying to, be a big shot in front of her husband and her kids and all them. It's like, whatever, dude. You're gonna poke a sensitive area on me. I'm gonna hurt you back. It happens. And it's not the high road, but it is a road oft taken, and sometimes deservedly so. Let's see this comment here. This might have a little bit more insight. It says, I have a sister just like yours. I won't get into why and how, but over the years, I've learned to ignore when I don't have to talk to her. You might have hit the nail on the head when it comes to your sister because, one, before anything started, they went to their company, HR, and she was transferred to a different office. Not one person goes to HR because they think something is going to start with a colleague. Okay, they already started. Interesting. Two, don't let anyone dim your success. Congratulations, NTA. They go after they've already started to minimize damage. They probably got called into HR, not gonna lie. Interesting. Might be why she's still so sensitive about the relationship. That's a big reaction for someone who supposedly did everything right. How do you meet people at work and it be okay? Let's say apps aside, maybe you don't go out to bars, you don't drink, blah, blah, blah. You meet somebody at work, you got a big old crush on them. What do you do next? You're in a career you really like, you're in a job you really like, you realize you might be working with this person for a long time. You all have a crush on each other. How do you handle that? High risk, high reward though. Sometimes you meet your person at work. It happens all the time. My old roommate met his wife at Starbucks where she was his manager. And I was at their wedding and it was great. Yeah, meeting your spouse at work? I guess it depends on the kind of job it is. Let's move on. NTA, personally, as a hiring manager, I don't care what you have or look like. If you're good at the job, that is all I care about. My line worker is autistic AF, but he makes a damn good pizza. I had a driver who didn't speak English, but I could always rely on him to deliver. I myself have ADHD, and I'm the general manager of high volume Domino's. It's not a matter to me if you're physically impaired or what color you are, language you speak, or anything. If I can count on you to be on time and do your job, then you are in my crew. And that is all I care about. Reply, I like you. Please never change. Dude, back in the day when I used to eat pizza, because I had a moment where I didn't eat pizza once. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I like Domino's. You know what? I'm gonna say this on camera right now. Controversial, I know, but I like Domino's. I also like their ad campaign they had a few years ago where they were like, hey, we heard that you thought our pizza tastes like cardboard and that's bad, where they read all the negative reviews and they were like, and we're going to change up our formula. And then they did, and now all of their pizza crust is like a little garlicky butteriness. Garlic buttery pizza crust. So good. Dude, I love Domino's. Ugh. All right, moving on. AITAH for understanding and not freezing out my dad for leaving our mom over a dead bedroom. This is a weird post to make because honestly, it's weird to know such details about my parents, but such is life, so here goes. This person being a 27-year-old male, parents have recently announced they are in divorce proceedings. I was a surprise, so they are still pretty young, both in their late 40s. I have a younger sister who is 24 and recently married and freaking out. Apparently, my dad is leaving my mom because for the last 3 years, they basically never had sex. She would have no interest, and I guess it went from once every couple of months to in the last year, she straight up told him she's just not interested in sex anymore. In their late 40s? He asked for an open marriage in response, I'm sure, and she took that as a sign he would cheat and filed for divorce. It sucks, but I get it from both sides. I'm not really trying to get in the middle of it, to be honest. I've always gotten along fine with both of them, but my dad and I have always been super close, just way more in common and the more involved parent growing up, the dad bad for this guy. So while it sucks they're split, I just want to continue to have a separate relationship with both of them. My sister has taken a different approach and hates my dad right now. She thinks he's being a total a-hole and just saying a lot of mean things about him. I'm trying to stay out of that and just let her heal how she needs to. I recently had my dad over for dinner with my wife and our 2 young kids. He's doing well and has already started dating someone, and I'm honestly happy for him. He's still young, and I don't think he should be alone forever since it didn't work out with my mom. I guess my dad posted to his story a picture. Oh, your dad has an Instagram story? I guess my dad posted to his story a picture of him with his grandkids to his Facebook. Oh, Facebook. So my sister and mom saw it and are mad at me for still being so tight with him. My sister is calling him a cheater and saying I'm taking the cheater's side, and my mom is saying similar stuff. I feel like I'm just being an adult about the situation, though. I don't know, am I really in the wrong here? My wife says she can see where my sister is coming from, but thinks I'm being more logical about it. Wanted to get some neutral perspectives. Okay, so there might be a little bit more info here, but if we assume everything you say is true, specifically that they had no interest in doing the horizontal mambo, there was nothing going on over the last 3 years, they weren't physical or intimate or whatever. She had no interest, and she literally straight up told him she's just not interested in sex anymore. If his response to that was, well, that's something that I need in a relationship, would we do it? Would you be open to an open marriage? If that is exactly what happened, yeah, 100%. I'm on the dad side. Yeah, 1,000%. Libidos change over the years, sure. But people are in their 60s and 70s. People are in retirement homes giving each other STDs, you know? NTA, and it's inappropriate of your mom to try to get her own kid to side against his dad on an issue that doesn't concern him. Yeah, I didn't even talk about that. Yeah, parents like pulling kids apart during a divorce. It's like, dude, if you're co-parenting a child, you have to prioritize preserving their opinion of their parent. Not always, but most of the time, you got to bite the bullet. You know, if you're in a relationship and you realize you don't like that person anymore, but you got a kid, don't be mean to that kid's dad. Don't be mean to that kid's mom. You know what I'm saying? You can help the kid get through difficult situations. You can help them if they're having problems with it. You can talk to them about it, but don't villainize their parent. It's just never, in my opinion, it's never a great move to villainize your kid's parent. In reply to this, it says, I agree, she never should have involved the kids or expected them to pick sides. Well, really cut the dad out. Op's dad never cheated. He made a suggestion and she used it for a reason to file for divorce, which leads me to believe that she was done with the relationship anyway. Good for Op being logical and thoughtful in his approach. His mom's behavior is going to push him away. Edited to add, I'm a woman and I'm on the dad's side. I am 40 and I wouldn't be willing to stay in an unhappy, distant relationship for the rest of my life. Plus, at 40, my sex drive is like at its peak. Whoa! When my parents divorced, it was for a good reason. I was barely 18 and immediately took my mom's side again for good reason. She pointed out to me that she had never done anything to me and encouraged our relationship despite how he treated her. The entire family abandoned him, but I decided to talk to him. We reconnected and never once did my mom discourage me. My siblings were, of course, judgmental and argumentative with me. I didn't listen. Flash forward 20 years later, not only did we become best friends, my parents reconciled. They are both gone now, and I have zero regrets. My siblings never made the attempt, and I can see how much never being able to forgive him and begin to move on has affected them. Even 5 years later, you do you, sending you healing energy. Calling it cheating because he asked for a solution is just a manipulation tactic. That has 1.6 thousand upvotes. Man, yeah, that sucks ass, dude. This really sucks. Can you imagine being married to somebody, then halfway through they just switch up on you? That happens all the time. What am I talking about? That happens all the time. Not even just about sex, about a lot of things, I'm sure. Somebody suddenly becomes hyper religious and this is all they can focus on, or somebody becomes an addict to like gambling or something, and then the person that you love has turned into somebody completely new. How do you piece that together again? You know? This is not the person that I've loved for the past 10 years or whatever. 20 years, 30 years, who knows? It happens all the time. Ask your sister to provide the evidence of the cheating. NTA. All right. Interesting thing. Interesting point. You need to ask her, when did he get down? Get down. When did he get down? Op needs to sit down with her and parse out the insanity and lies. I really don't understand why people never do that. The sister is making wild accusations, and Op seems confident they are lies, so I would assume he is interested in having his sister stop spreading horrible lies about his father. I assume he is also interested in finding out if the real source is his mom making a great effort to ruin his father's life, or if the sister is having some kind of mental episode because she can't accept her parents' divorce. Of course, the possibility also exists there is proof of him cheating, which changes a lot of things, don't you think? Which again, Op should want to find out. What Op can't do is just let things happen around him unless he finds these things acceptable. It looks like he doesn't. We got an ENTJ right here. Extroverted, intuitive thinking, judging. This person is a leader. Let's try this again. 30 is a leader, okay? They're like, if the circumstances are bad, change them. What Op can't do is just let things happen around him unless he finds these things acceptable. It looks like he doesn't, so if Op can't confront family he knows, how can he truly confront others when he needs to? Why is he afraid of the sister or mom? Is he afraid of losing his relationship with them? It sounds like having his father in his life will do that anyways, and confrontation is the only chance he has of that not happening. NTA, and whichever your parents chose to involve you and your sister by discussing their sex life was inappropriate to do so. That said, anyone is justified in leaving a sexually exclusive relationship with someone who is refusing sex. Your mom was under no obligation to have sex with your dad, but he was under no obligation to stay. And he's not a cheater if he didn't start dating again until after your mom filed for divorce. Thank you, was waiting for someone to say this. No reason for the kids to know about their dead bedroom. I don't have any issue with Op maintaining contact with his dad, but both parents should have kept some of this to themselves. Yeah, that happens in divorces, man. Your parents start becoming your friends. Child of divorce right here, you know? Sometimes parents just going through all these really insane feelings and they're trying to relate to their kid like, well, you know, it's like we don't really, you know, she hasn't touched my pee-pee in a while. Hey, Dad, stop it! No! She hasn't touched it in a while. I'm just saying. Hey, stop it! No! Go back to fixing your motorcycle or whatever the you do. Anyway, we're going to move on from this story. Okay. Am I the a-hole for calling my wife's friend's dating technique idiotic? Probably not. You probably did a service, but let's find out. My male 38 wife, female 34, had some of her friends over for dinner, and we were all talking about this and that. Oh, God, I love a little bit of this and that. I love to get down with a little bit of this and that. One of her friends, female 32, starts talking about how she can't find any good men to stick around. My wife and her friends are sympathetic. We keep on talking about her and her latest dates, and she starts talking about her dating technique. This is essentially to show as little interest as possible and to ghost guys she likes since she wants them to fight for her. Good technique. Yeah, just ignore a guy and reply very little and say nothing. Yeah, that's good. You want a man with the inability to perceive a no to perceive you. You want a man with the inability to perceive a soft no to be the type to pursue you. That is an interesting thing that you are, whether you know it or not, looking for. Anyway, Op replies, they say, I laugh and say that is just plain stupid, and of course you will not find any good men, since only the bad ones will actually do that. Like good guys who will respect you and will never keep chasing if you send out the signal that you don't want them. I'm on the spectrum and can have a hard time realizing when people are upset, so my wife bumped me and told me to shut up. Later, after everyone left, she told me that she agreed with me, but I didn't need to be so blunt about it, so am I the a-hole? No. Sometimes, dude, hey, your spectrum in that moment was a superpower. You might have healed this poor thing that has no clue that she should treat men as equals and that they should, have a normal conversation and show mutual interest. Because, guys like to feel pursued also. Some of them, sometimes. If there's interest, I don't know. Edit. So this blew up more than I thought it would, LOL. I tried to read most of the comments, but it's just too many at the moment of writing. It's 1.7 thousand, which is just wow. Most of you said I'm not the a-hole, but I will admit I could have framed it better. I am on the spectrum, but I'm under the firm belief that while it might explain why I put my foot in my mouth, it does not excuse it. I showed this post to my wife since some of the comments made me wonder some things. First being if they, meaning his wife, never told her, the friend, this themselves, since it's kind of a dick move on their part. being the friend. She said they have, though not as bluntly as I did, just saying that that would never work as she thought it would, but she just keeps doing it. Apparently 3 years ago, she messed up royally on her long-term relationship of 4 years. They had a fight. She went out to get some drinks to cool off, and in her anger, she slept with another guy. I asked her if she knew if she was really drunk when it happened. Since it does not excuse her actions, it would make her more susceptible to manipulation from bad eggs. According to her friend, she was not drunk, just in an awful place mentally and wanted to punish him. She then felt extremely guilty and told him, and he dumped her. Since then, she has had nothing but one-night stands and short-term flings from not-so-good guys. The best one lasted 4 months, but due to bad communication or her way of dating, he thought they were friends with benefits, and she thought they were a couple. So when she found out he was sleeping with other people, she was heartbroken. She really is a sweet person, very bubbly and kind. I think she might just have some kind of trauma from her long-term ending the way it did. My wife does not know if she used this technique before that relationship or if she started after. Anyway, I hope she stops going about it that way and finds someone good. I have told my wife to tell her I'm sorry for the way I phrased it. Also, thanks for the awards. Never got those before. Okay, great. My question is there such a thing as like being red-pilled as a woman? Is that a thing? That's not the same as like the trad wife type, right? Is there like is there a femcell? All right, this one's like a proper scholarly article, National Library of Medicine. The abstract says, although male incels have received a great deal of scholarly attention in recent years, there have been almost no research on femcells, involuntarily celibate women. Yeah, that's not quite the same thing, really. But NTA, if yes means yes is to be fully accepted throughout society, then this playing hard to get nonsense needs to die. You can't do both, because then you're in a weird, blurry category, man. You're in a weird space. Cannot do that. It's been so public and popular, and rightly so, that men need to calm the hell down when pursuing a lady. And if she gives you a look like this or a finger wag like that, you gotta go up. Never mind, my bad. I'm sorry, I misread the situation. I didn't understand. The playing hard to get stuff, I don't know if that works anymore. Maybe, you know, if you're in high school and you're really playing like childish games, it's just childish. Why waste time? If anything, Ops saved the wife's friend from a type of toxic positivity that would lead her into a lifetime of loneliness without even knowing why. I'm only sorry that the wife and her friends weren't the ones calling her out. They're not very good friends, in my opinion. Ooh, okay, so, well, you know, sometimes friends gotta tell you the hard shit. I'm asking you right now, think to yourself quickly. When my friends tell me something difficult, do I immediately accept it, or do I fight it, or do I think about it and take what works and leave what doesn't? I'm trying to think about that for myself right now. Do I do that? But I guess it's all situational, right? Someone has to tell her her friends are not being sympathetic or kind. They're allowing her to fail as a human being. Her lack of emotional intelligence, which is what EQ is so profound that perhaps she should not establish a meaningful relationship. NTA. Not at all. Any self-respecting man will take the hint and move on, and only the toxic waste of humanity will keep pushing. It is a major red flag if they cannot accept a no. Not to mention that at 32, your dating circles get smaller. Men around her age and older just don't want games. You aren't interested? Okay, cool. On to the next. Not just that, but you're acutely aware of how you're perceived and how that may affect other dates. And the last thing a guy wants to be perceived as is a threat / predator / creep. So obviously most guys are going to be like, okay, I respect that. Bye. The men are avoiding a lifetime of frustration. Can you imagine being married to someone who thinks that's an effective mode of communication, just ignoring you? Hey, babe, what's up? Happy birthday. Yeah, happy birthday. We're going out to eat tonight. Okay. I got you this brand new Toyota Prius. Wow. And then ghosts him for 2 weeks. That's how I show him I love him. Stop it. NTA, it is objectively a stupid dating tactic. You're right. Good men will take her disinterest as a sign to stop engaging with her. Yeah, you were blunt, and maybe you should have dressed it up as a, do you not think that it will end up with the good men walking away? But if she brings up her dating tactic as a topic of conversation, then it's fair game to comment on it. Out of interest, what were the rest of the group saying about her tactic? Agreed, I'm interested in what the other people were saying, if being blunt was not the right choice. No reply from Op here, but yeah, I think just, you know, taking the temperature of the room, dude, I think sometimes people with spectrum, they have that superpower. It's not an excuse, right? It's not an excuse to be rude, because there's plenty of people in the spectrum out there who are not rude, who are very nice, lovely, wonderful, kind people. But sometimes your spectrumness allows you to be more honest, unencumbered, and sometimes the truth gets out a little bit faster. And I think that's just a goddamn superpower. Truly, I do. Anyway, next story. AITAH for breaking up with my boyfriend after he made a very inappropriate comment to my sister. Nope, but let's keep reading. Why not? We're here. I'm going to start by saying I don't think I'm the a-hole, but my now ex-boyfriend claims I've been overreacting and exaggerating. I've been dating this guy for 3 years, and I really thought he was the one, but today he made me quickly change my mind. I have a half-sister who's 16. I am 22. We have the same dad and different moms. We don't look much alike. 2 years ago, my dad developed a severe form of leukemia, and he passed away within a couple of months. Needless to say, it was the hardest thing my sister and I have ever had to face in life. My sister took it particularly hard. She used to love going to the gym and working out and has stopped doing so. She also started eating much more junk food, I see where this is going, and ended up gaining a lot of weight. Today, my boyfriend and I went to my sister's house as her mom had invited all of us for lunch. We were eating homemade pizza, and my sister ended up asking her mom if she could have another slice. That's when my boyfriend said, "Are you sure you want another one looking like that?" Yeah, that's your ex, dog. That's your ex now, isn't it? We'll keep reading. Grit your teeth. Here we go. My sister got up from the table and ran to her room. I was in shock and I wasn't able to tell him anything nor follow my sister to her room, which I deeply regret. Thankfully, my boyfriend and I don't live together. So before he dropped me off at home, I told him it was over because he can't disrespect my sister like that, especially because he had been there when my dad died and knew how it made both of us feel. God. I tried to call my sister, but she won't answer. We'll go to her room, knock on her door. I texted her mom to ask her if she's okay, and she said she's okay, and she's not mad at me, but she doesn't want to talk to anybody right now, understandably so. I'm going to go over to her mom's house after she's done with school tomorrow and bring her some flowers. That's very sweet. I know I'm not the one who said anything, but I hope she can forgive me for not stepping up. I was in shock, and I hope she understands. Package it just like that, say it just like that, you'll be okay. I was in shock. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I didn't say anything. That'll never happen again. I love you. Enjoy these flowers. You want to go for pizza later? You know, let's read some of these comments. NTA, and good job kicking him to the curb and trying to be there for your sister. If he said that to her, just imagine if something happened to you, like getting pregnant and you gained weight or something. He showed his true colors. Can you imagine this man being a father to girls, telling them to watch what they eat all the time and stressing them about looking beautiful? He would instill a sense of self-worth completely reliant on the way they look and not who they are. NTA, Op dropped the trash at the curb. Op dropped that trash. Get down, get down, get. The part about this guy being a dad to girls is very valid. My dad used to tell me things like, "Oh, well, you'd probably have more boys like you if you lost a little weight." I also got stuff directed at me by my mom. It really gave me a lot of insecurity that I barely got back in my mid-30s. NTA, this man body shamed your sister for something he doesn't know she's going through. He sounds immature as hell. This reply has it right. Even worse, he does know. Op says he was around when their father passed away. Yeah, what a turd sandwich of a man. I'm glad you dumped him. Jesus, dude. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law I won't be going out to eat with her family again if her husband and youngest are going too? Let me start off by saying I have a great relationship with my sister-in-law and her older kids, 18 and 16. Thought I had a great relationship with husband, 46, and youngest, 13, until last night's dinner. We went to a nicer Italian restaurant and I was completely embarrassed and furious with the way that they acted. Husband was complaining about everything from where we had to park, why we had to wait when we had a reservation, which he made us late for by taking his sweet time getting ready, to the prices and the menu options. We get apps enough for everyone to have at least 2 of each thing. He grabs half of all of them because he couldn't wait to eat, and then he complains about whatever he can with the food. 13-year-old kid is wearing pajama pants and a tore-up hoodie because dad said it was fine. It wasn't, but they still sat us. Waiter came to take our order. Husband ordered some crazy modified pizza and then bitched when they charged accordingly. 13-year-old couldn't order for themselves? I don't know why, but whatever. Me and sister-in-law have both worked in restaurants for years, and this is the part that made me want to leave. The husband has both earbuds in, watching anime at the table, and shakes his empty Mountain Dew glass at the waiter, and then he laughs about how he didn't even have to say anything to get a refill. Let me show you. He did this. Huh. They take it, they refill it, he takes it back. Oh, sick. Notice how I didn't even have to say anything to waiter, you guys? Is that sick? This guy's 46? Is it you're cosplaying a king in medieval times? Is that what you think? Do you know what a restaurant is? Why would you be watching anime at a fancy Italian restaurant? The check comes and one of the apps I was paying for was on their bill, easy fix, but the husband yells, "How hard is it to do it right the first time?" That's when I almost lost it and just followed the waiter to the point of sale, or the device that they use to pay for things, and paid for me and the 2 oldest food. meaning the 18-year-old and the 16-year-old. I said bye to my sister-in-law, I said bye to the 2 oldest, and then I left. She later called me and asked if they did something wrong, so I laid it out about how embarrassing her husband and youngest were. I was told that no one else has a problem with them. Then I got a call from mother-in-law thanking me for being the only other person to call out their husband for his I think is what this means. So am I the a-hole, or was I right to be embarrassed and pissed off? This is my wife's sister's family. My wife passed away in 2022. Damn. I'm sorry to hear that. That's awful. No, I think you are right. Yeah, no, you're not overreacting. You're right to be embarrassed, because it's embarrassing, dude. Have you ever been out to a restaurant and somebody starts being a smartass to the waiter? I die internally. Every single time I'm around somebody who's being a jerk to the waiter, I'm like, what are you doing? First of all, they control our food. They're going to spit at it. I think about that all the time. Dude, one time a guy looked at me at a Taco Bell funny, and I almost didn't eat the food. He just looked at the bag like, here you go. And I was like, what did you do to my tacos? I didn't die yet, but it could happen. Anyway, yeah, dude, no, you don't mess with the people who mess with your food. What a mess. God, I don't know, man. You might have to, stay friendly with the sister, stay friendly with those kids, but yeah, you might have to start dipping out, If mother-in-law was thanking you, then NTA. And brother-in-law obviously is the a-hole. Not brother-in-law, haha, that is used for the actual brother-in-law and husbands that are liked. Sorry, sister-in-law's husband then. He's the asshole here. This made me laugh because I refer to my father-in-law as my husband's father for this exact reason. NTA, a 46-year-old with earbuds watching anime at a nicer Italian restaurant and acting that way? He's a child. Are you kidding me? If I had a kid watching anime, first of all, no, phone's away at dinner, right? But second of all, pulling out your cup and shaking it at the waiter like a little king, like King Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Op says, yeah, I guess mother-in-law has said something, but I'm betting everyone else avoids or just lets it slide. I know one of my brothers-in-law doesn't really have a relationship with them because he hasn't liked the husband since they got together. Ew, so he's always been like that. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, you're committed to being family with your married family, even after your wife's passing. That's very sweet. And I think it's a great way to stay kind of connected with your wife after her passing. And it's a great way to maintain relationships and stay sane after this horrible loss that you went through 4 years ago. This guy sucks balls, though. Okay, 2 things can be true at once, right? Everybody, let's get down. Okay, outro. Get down. Let's get down. Babe. That guy sucks balls. Get down.